the left is now seems to be more open to discussing politics in general and I think it's since the election of Donald Trump. For a long time, it was don't engage, don't give them. If you engage with them, they'll
don't platform
actually, don't platform them.
Right.
You're going to give them credibility, and so I want to know your thoughts on that. Do you believe that that there is a change, or do you think that that this is kind of something that the left has always done, and that we're misrepresenting or misunderstanding the reality?
Definitely there's an issue. I don't want to overgeneralize. There's always been people on the left who will engage, but I totally agree there's been a deficit of that. And one of the things that infuriates me about the feedback we've received to our show, The Grudge, you can find it on Luke Beasley on the channel, that Isabella and I are doing, is a lot of people, if you get upset at something I'm saying or she's saying, understandable, I'm constantly upset at what she's saying.
He cries a lot.
A lot of the feedback is the fact that we're even talking, and it's, why are you
That's from your side.
Isabella?
Now our
From
side
my
will be, from our side it'll be like, oh wow, he came on at least. Thankfully he came on. They don't discourage us from talking to the left.
Okay, and it's definitely an issue with my side that I'm addressing here, because I engage with them more often, and for a long time, especially with Trump now winning the second time, I don't know how you make the argument if we ignore the ideology, it goes away. Insane. So that's actually really upsetting me. My hope is that more people will do this because, my belief is that we have the facts on our side. So why not bring it out there? And then the idea that you support an ideology by shining light on it. I get that there are certain things you want to be mindful about debating. Like if you're not a doctor, you're not a professional and you're not good at debating, but you just throw yourself into a vaccine debate, but you're not ready for someone who's practiced all the anti-vax talking points, maybe it won't come off right, even if you have the facts on your side. But if you do feel comfortable speaking with people like these, I don't know why people make the don't platform argument. That's strange.
Yeah, my thing is that I actually think that you're like, if you're worried about right-wing extremism, I feel like the left actually made people more extreme by isolating them. So I feel like I have shifted from like a more libertarian mindset to a very far right ideology. And that has been within the last 5-10 years, right? Like 5 years, more 5 years, right? 5-6 years. I've definitely made a hard right-wing turn. And I really feel like that is because I like that the left radicalized me. And I feel like I would even say that I'm slightly radicalized, and it's because we were demonized, ostracized, don't talk to them, don't platform them, don't whatever, like I was saying earlier on. And if you stop having these conversations with people, you will radicalize the other side. That's why even as much as I want to like torment the left right now, which I do, like I don't ever want to stop these conversations because I don't think they're productive, and I don't think we're ever going to meet anywhere to like make this country like at least a little more sane.
Yeah, and even separate from morally or intellectually, just strategically, one of the things that I was reading was that one of the reasons Harris didn't do an interview with Joe Rogan was progressive staffers of hers were afraid of progressive backlash to talking with him. And there's this whole, one of my friends calls it the brosphere podcast arena that we just haven't entered at all, in part because we have a fear of, I guess, of engaging with certain people, and then people go, "Why are you talking to them? You're normalizing them," which is like their platform is bigger than most people.
The funny thing is that like they were lefty people, like Rogan.
Like
Rogan was
Bernie.
We lost Rogan.
Yeah, did.
You can look at the Trump administration, and all of the people that everybody was most excited about used to be Democrats. RFK,
right?
Elon Musk,
Tulsi Gabbard,
Donald Trump. These are all people that in the aughts were Democrats,
right?
Clearly
normal Democrats, like establishment Democrats,
and they've been run out of the Democrat Party
by the progressives.
Yeah, by the progressives. That's why I asked earlier, before, I was like, do you consider yourself a Democrat? Do you consider yourself a progressive? Because I think that there is a distinction in the Democrat Party, and there's probably going to be some kind of serious civil war in the Democrat Party. And I think that people that, like yourself, that will go to other outlets and present your views to other people to listen to and actually debate the ideas, I think that you're likely going to win. I think that the progressives that are like, don't go and engage at all, I think that they're going to become fewer and fewer. At least that's my hope. So kudos to you for
it's tough
that
with the
stuff.
distinction too. I just want to make, in case people don't know my ideology, is like on a lot of economic policy, a lot of policies. I'm really progressive the way we used to use that term. Now it's associated with something, in some cases, that is a little icky. Like, I don't think it's a progressive view to think you shouldn't go engage with other ideologies, but maybe some of the people who
people we would consider that a left wing progressive.
That's whack. Because my experience too is I feel like, to your point, I've made people less extreme by just talking with them in my personal life. Now, this will be a little bit more debatey, which sometimes is harder to make progress. But in longer form, more passive discussions, people are open to hearing, unless, like you said, they feel isolated.
I feel like if I walk into a place and I know it's like left wing people, I actually feel like they hate me. Like they hate me. Yeah. Even my neighbors, like my neighbors hang like a gay pride trans flag outside their house, right? They know I'm super conservative, right? They don't say hi to me. I say, hi, how are you? Nothing, right? Like I feel the hatred coming from them more than... so now I hang a straight pride flag up, right? So fine, I wasn't going to go there, right? But now that you have treated
it's a response,
right? Like I feel like I'm constantly responding to how I've been treated. So it's a very reactive thing.
It's so interesting because that's how I think most people on the left feel.
Really?
See, I feel like I don't even want my husband wearing a MAGA hat in a restaurant because I don't want someone spitting in my food.
Right.
I literally have that fear.
And I know that people were walking around with their Biden and their Kamala hats on, but they think everybody else thinks like them, and we're the extreme minority here.
And they have the moral high ground, they think. So they're so, you know what I mean? It's a badge of honor.
They think it's like these random, weird, they're like, we're not the majority. That they feel like they have the ability to act like that. Like there were people, I remember so many of us being afraid to wear like a MAGA hat around, right? Or a shirt supporting Trump. But when it was Kamala Harris, I mean, they had masks on that said Biden Harris, right? It was like that was more socially acceptable. You didn't feel like walking into a thing if you had a political shirt on the left that anybody would do anything to your food, that you would get kicked out. I mean, we have felt like that.
I think it depends on where you are. A lot of conservatives like to live in really liberal areas.
I don't like to live there. I'm trying to leave.
Yeah,
but
that's where you are. But and so then that can happen. But like when I've gone to really conservative areas, I feel uncomfortable if I were wearing something.
But
Kamala,
I do think,
which the name is Kamala, by the way.
Oh God,
if you ever wanted
swallow.
that
But
correctly.
to his point, I do think that the tides are changing. Like even if you saw after the election, AOC posted an Instagram story and she said, "Hey, like to my voters who voted for me and also Trump, why? I genuinely want to know why you did that."
And that did happen,
which is not the case in the past. Like before, it'd be like, I don't know if she would say you're disgusting people, but why would you do that? But it's interesting in that she's putting that on her platform. Then you even see Cenk, or as I like to call him, Chunky Yogurt, and Anna Kasparian. Now they're kind of warming up to the idea.
And it's been warming up.
And their audience is starting to turn on them. And it's very interesting. And then also Joe Scarborough on Morning Joe, him and his wife was calling Trump Hitler for years. And then Trump wins and then they go have dinner. But if he's really Hitler, wouldn't you not feel safe having dinner with him at his house? But
Hitler. They pointed to
Fascist.
historical references about rhetoric because we should learn from history, not to make
the liberals love to use a lot of words that are
y'all's
long.
whole thing about everyone called him Hitler. It's like, guys, chill. He obviously exhibits fascistic tendencies. Can we just acknowledge it?
He doesn't though.
All right. I don't know what trying to.
He's more Democrat than I'd want him to be. He's
right.
Not,
yeah.
He's not. He didn't.
What?
I think that is something that you hear a lot on the right. Is the right says, please let Trump be the
what they
authoritarian that the Democrats think that he is.
What did you say before we started recording?
I can't speak for everyone. People have gone too far. Like I know people call him Orange Hitler and stuff. Like I've never engaged with that, but I do point to he literally said on True Social that we should terminate the Constitution.
Okay, with that,
look
this
it up.
has been.
Look it up, please.
We just went over this with Cenk. Like it was just we did
a massive fraud of this type of magnitude allows for the termination
but that's not.
of all
Nope,
rules,
they broke it down.
Articles.
You guys read it one way.
This is borderline.
We'll set it. We're not going to do this because.
But my point is,
I'll send you the link
then how do you just your? But
so
but how do you justify? How do you justify? Literally, here's the quote: the government should come down hard on them, and the them that he was talking about in the post was MSNBC. That's fascist stuff.
I don't want the conversation to continue to be brought to Donald Trump and stuff.
God forbid we talk about the most relevant person in politics.
There are topics that we are going to try to stay to. And when we initially started this was about Gen Z. This particular bit was about
Gen Z.
Okay, but wait. The only reason why I don't want to
support Trump.
That's not what we're talking about, though. Why do you think Gen Z has actually moved right?
Cenk, and just so you know, I'm not trying to avoid that topic. Cenk and Tim just went over that like like 2 days
nights ago. I was
and it was
right
like a
there.
30-minute thing. So I just don't want to, for our audience, I don't want to like break that all down again and go through the arguments when they already hashed it out. So like, I'll send you the clip later. And if anybody wants to watch
I don't know if Cenk was able to do it justice. I didn't see the clip, but it's ridiculous.
Cenk did it justice.
It's ridiculous to try to defend
what happens is there's a different reading both ways of it.
Okay, but there's all the examples are him saying the press are criminals and stuff like that. It's just that is fascistic.
So what? So if this is the case,
I'm
then
trying
why
to
do you
move
think
on. I just have to finish the point you said. You want me to move on? I'm about to go to the thing that you asked about.
I feel bad for him too.
Which was you were talking about. Oh, I always, like, my whole life I have a bunch of Trump supporters in my family and everything. So I'm always listening to the other side and trying to figure out where they're coming from. I am curious, as a little bit of a hypocrisy check. One of the things that's weird is, like, Trump didn't even get a majority. He got a plurality. He got under 50%. Yeah. So, like, the majority voted against Trump in that sense. And he's still legitimate president, all of that. But in that,
the barriers
in
move.
that
it has
situation,
to be like wait, win the popular vote. And now it's
I
like
didn't even get to the key part of
I
the
just wanted to
point.
make that distinction. Go
He
ahead.
won the popular vote. He won an electoral landslide. He won, okay?
Right.
For sure. But I'm saying I would love to go, all right, someone wins. I'm going to think about not changing my principles if I believe them to be correct because someone won. I can think someone incorrectly won, which I do in this case. But I'm, as we do constantly, trying to figure out what the other side is thinking. Okay. But y'all didn't apply that when Biden won by way more, the popular vote, right? Like, why didn't y'all go, what
I'll tell you why,
should we
'cause
resonate with what he's
I'll tell you
doing?
why, because I was in Philadelphia, right? And I actually am an elected committee person in Philadelphia, right? And my mom's a judge of elections. So I was actually supposed to be doing those elections. And they were literally putting cardboard up on the wall so people could not watch them count the vote, right?
Which is a first
I
in
can
history.
explain why.
People can always watch.
No, but I'm just saying to you.
That's not, you bring up things and then it's
Stop,
like,
stop.
I need to explain why you're saying that and why it's wrong. But then
But we had pipes burst. We had the little jump and stuff. And we had shifts to the electoral process that were different, that were done judicially, but it was shifts that were done that were not whatever. We had misinformation running through favoring the Democrats
Always.
in that, like with the Russia stuff, with the
Hunter Biden,
all that, right? So there were lots of things where Republicans, and you can say they were valid or not, they felt in their hearts, right, from all this stuff that we see going on, that it wasn't like people now say like it wasn't a fair election because the media, right? And I think that's kind of a cop out. I have seen, as somebody who has been involved in the electoral process for a long time, I have always seen multiple instances of voter fraud happening, right? And I've seen it. I had some guy that came in, he said, like, with this thing, he got dropped off in Philly at like right across from Head House Square. And he said he lived on I forget, it was like 13 Delancey Street. Well, my mom lives at 205. That freaking house didn't exist, right? And he's got this signed little piece of paper and he's saying he wants to vote. You're not this person. There is no house there. You can't say you live there when that house number doesn't even exist, right? And they let him vote, right? And we were mad about it. And then you have instances of like, I don't think that you know this, but in Delaware County, outside of Philadelphia, they actually have on tape saying that there was an investigation. The investigation is still ongoing. They haven't settled it. Where these people were like, we're not going to show them what they did. There's all this undercover footage of them. Actually, the guy is admitting to lying and manipulating the votes in Delaware County. Like, it's still an ongoing like court case today that they're dealing with. It's not been shut out yet. So especially in areas like that where I live, where there's multiple instances of these things.
Just this one area and these couple areas. And the problem too is when it takes years to sort these things
but not
out.
even
so it
that.
doesn't change anything.
It takes 7 votes at every precinct, okay, like in Philadelphia, to change the outcome of an election. 7 votes in each precinct.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Culture War podcast. We're live every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon, so subscribe and come hang out.